Yeah. MD. JPB. It's only right, baby.
Yeah. Why you mad? I got a bad bro. Name hot in these streets, no Tabasco. But I'm so stuck, that's a fact, yo. And if you think I'm frontin', you can run it back, yo. Boy, run it back. You know that I run it. Everything you wanna do, I already done it. And I got your little boo telling me she love me. I got this. Damn, it's gonna be a long night.
Hello guys, what is up? It is me, Prince of Lotus, and I'm back with another video. I know it's been a week, but I have an excuse. I was tired, as is every human, when they practically go over the limit, even when people tell them not to. And you guys have been telling me not to burn myself out and to take it easy, and I appreciate that, but at certain points I just have to stay up all night, and at this point I have like huge dark circles under my eyes. Don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm already black, so I'm just gonna, just pass that off. Nobody's gonna notice anyway, right? Anyway, I'm gonna get into the video, and as for what if Deku could edit quirks, that is coming, but you do not want a bad second part to this series, so that's why I'm working on it so hard. But so you guys don't get bored, I'm releasing this, and don't worry, I already got the thumbnails up for the other upcoming videos. What if Asta was a conduit? What if Deku ate the Marimara no Mi? What if Deku had dark side powers? I got you. It's just gonna take a while, so wait for me, and I hope you guys like this video. And without any further ado, let's get into the story. Last time we left off, Asta had just gotten acquainted with the new girl who also became a Black Bull recently, and it started off a bit rocky, but she came to like being part of the Black Bulls because they didn't make fun of her. Then after meeting, they had their first mission, and saved the village from some pretty suspicious characters with the help of their senpai Magna. Unfortunately, the defeated opponents committed suicide to avoid revealing any information. But it wasn't all bad, as Asta got paid some money and also received a strange stone that Nero picked up. And for the first time in life, he was about to enter a dungeon as well after this, and he was specifically assigned this task by the Wizard King. Asta and Noel enter the dungeon with Luck leading in front, and they're walking through a hallway, wondering why Magna warned them about Luck. Luck then speaks up, surprising the two. "Hey guys, why are you so quiet?" Noel says, "No reason, let's just keep going." Luck shrugs his shoulders as they keep going further and further down the hall, and soon they enter the actual dungeon. It is vast and feels full of energy, at least to Noel and Luck, but Asta feels nothing since he can't sense magic. Asta just then starts walking around and checking things out. By accident, he steps on a trap that pops out a bunch of ice spikes. Luckily, he managed to activate Armament Hockey on his legs in time, and this made the trap cancel out and the ice dissipated. Noel then asked, "What was that?" "As expected of a dungeon, this place has traps," says Asta. Luck after hearing this willingly activated more traps by sensing where they were. Water attacks, wind attacks, fire attacks were aiming for Asta and Noel. Asta easily cancels out the traps with his sword, but Luck refuses to stop activating them. Asta then says, "Luck, stop moving around." By this point, they realize why Magna warned them. Just being around this guy literally shortens your lifespan. Luck then says, "But why? This is so much fun." Asta then angrily says, "How is this fun in any way?" Luck then says, "Your sword is amazing. Maybe that's why the Wizard King gave you this mission. Maybe soon we can finally spar after we finish this up." Asta is holding himself back, but he can't also disagree that he wants to see how Luck fights as well. And while he thinks this through, Luck tries sensing out other people in the dungeon, and he finds a huge concentration of mana somewhere deep in the dungeon. Luck then said, "Something important came up, so you guys are gonna have to clear the dungeon by yourself, okay?" "Okay." He then leaves while activating his lightning boots, and Asta at this point is dumbfounded at how carefree this guy is, but he's also very pissed. Noel then says, "I can't believe he really left us alone." As she says this, she accidentally steps back on a trap and gets caught by a strange plant. Asta easily cuts the straps, I guess you could say, holding Noel in place, and he does this while pulling out his Demon Dweller sword. This lets Noel fall to the ground as he goes in for a finishing blow. He raises his sword above his head while smirking. Sorry, but I need to release some stress. He swings down with incredible force, cutting the plant in two and sending a gust of wind everywhere. The plant then withers away as Asta stands letting a huge sigh. Noelle then says, thanks for the save. Not that I needed it. Asta then says, yeah, just let me help you up. He helps her up as a bunch of wind just starts to gather in the place, and Noelle felt just an extraordinary and enormous amount of mana. Asta recognizes this wind. So, you were sent here too? Asks Asta. He looks back to see the golden dawn up above them, as you know who was part of them was smiling at him, and then all of a sudden he sent out wind blades. Asta was surprised but also excited. Oh, that's how it's gonna be? Well, don't mind if I do. He starts blocking all the attacks easily while protecting Noelle, who is very confused. Luckily, soon Yuno is stopped by Mimosa, and Noelle then asks Asta, who is that and why does he hate you? Asta then says, oh, that's my little bro, and he doesn't hate me, he's just being petty. Yuno then lands down from where he was standing and said, I'm not being petty, I'm just getting some payback. Asta then said, you just described petty. They stare at each other with hateful eyes as the others around them just started to tense up, but then all of a sudden the two brothers start laughing and talking like normal. Mimosa then lands with Klaus, who was staring down Asta. Klaus then says, why are you being so friendly with the black bull? Yuno then says, he's my brother, it's only natural. Asta raises an eyebrow to this and asks Yuno if he's another one of those stuck-up nobles. Yuno then says that he isn't perfect, but he acts better than most nobles, and that since he is his senpai, he has to be respectful. Klaus then says, why are you even here? We have to raid this dungeon. It was our mission. Asta then said, the Wizard King asked us to. When he hears this, Klaus starts laughing hysterically and calling Asta a liar and a nobody from a lowly group of holy knights. Mimosa stops Klaus by introducing herself and say hi to Noelle, and yeah, since they actually met before, it wasn't awkward, like Noelle knew who she was, Then, while trying to brag a bit, she mentioned that they recently gained a star and were recognized by the Wizard King himself. Asta then says, oh, we also got a star a few days back. Klaus then says, nonsense, you truly expect anyone to believe that? Asta says, no, but honestly, I'm not here for recognition. I'm here for a good fight. Klaus then feels an intense amount of bloodlust from this guy who he's trying to talk down to, who's actually taller than him, by the way, because Asta is not a shrimp in this one. And he feels kind of petrified, so he tried to, change the subject and says, anyway, I heard you were a three-man team. Was your other teammate? Asta then says, oh, he left us behind. Klaus then stares him down, looking down on him with a sort of pity, but also just anger. Just as I thought. Disgusting. Asta starts pulling out his sword out of anger, but is then stopped by Noelle, who shakes her head, and he begrudgingly does, pull his sword back in, and yeah, he bottles up his anger for now. And while this is happening, Luck was in the middle of a fight. After a while of searching, he found a few guys to duke it out with, but they were far too weak for him. But eventually, some other mage came in and started to actually get the better of him. And being blinded by his pride, he did not know how to get out of this, and this mage was beating him so easily. Mother, I'll never lose for you. I'll never lose. I'll never lose. Luck was obsessed with winning due to certain things that happened in his childhood, such as things like always needing to stay on top and winning. Considering he was a commoner, he was already pretty strong, and his mom made sure that he always won and kept saying that he should never ever lose. When you live in a world that demands that you never ever lose your place as the top just ranker or anything, as a matter of fact, they kind of drove Luck a bit crazy, obviously, and that was about to lead to his downfall. He began to weaken from the fight and his magic was being sapped, but he wasn't the only one in trouble. The Golden Dawn had now arrived at the treasury, but yeah, they landed and they were attacked by an enemy. They were ambushed by a crystal magic user and Mimosa got mortally injured. Asta wasn't having a very fun time either, because he had to get his crazy senpai back, and it was even more important now since a few minutes back he actually made a bet with the Four Eyes. Luckily, with the help of Nero, who actually followed them, they were able to start going down the right path, and with all the time they wasted, hopefully they won't be too late, because Luck and the Golden Dawn currently need their help. Soon after being told by Nero where they need to go, they found Luck, but they found him just as he was being drained of power. Asta dashes in, absorbing the smoke magic that was covering him with his sword, and sends it at Lotus, the smoke mage, who then had to dodge his own magic attack. Interesting. You can absorb magic, huh? Well, your friends are certainly interesting, aren't they? Says Lotus. Asta then says, alright old man, time out. If you keep going, you might break your hip, so let's stop now before you get hurt. Lotus has a vein popping out of his forehead as Noel slightly chuckles, and Lotus says, well then, let this old man teach you a lesson. Asta and Noel get ready for combat, but Luck rushes past them in an attempt to finish off Lotus first. If anybody's gonna beat this guy, it's gonna be me, and me alone, says Luck. Lotus easily dodges Luck and aims to trap him in smoke once again, but Noel takes the initiative and puts Luck in the Sea Dragon's lair, protecting him. This gave Asta the chance to slash Lotus across the chest with some armament hockey, enhancing his blade. And considering his abnormal strength and the fact that Asta has no magic, Lotus couldn't sense him at all, and he took on the full brunt of Asta's attack. Lotus then said, okay, what the hell is that sword? Asta then says, you don't need to know. All you need to know is... Asta says, all you need to know is we're gonna beat you together, because that's what friends are for. They fight. Asta then says, you don't even know about my sword. All you need to know is we're gonna beat you together, because that's what friends are for. They fight for and with each other. He looks at Luck with a patronizing glare, and he starts to just think about what he just said, and he asks Asta, even though you're so strong, why do you care so much about teamwork? You could take care of this yourself if you wanted to. I know you had the chance. Noel then says, do you have cotton in your ears? It's cause we're teammates. And unless you agree to listen to us, you're not getting out of my prison. Luck then starts to stare at both Asta and Noel, and they seem like they're waiting for him, and there was no way he could make them wait. Luck then says, fine, I guess fighting with friends is more fun anyway. He then thinks, I'm sorry mother, but I'm not only here for you anymore. Asta then says, besides, when the time comes, I fully intend to hog all the fighting for myself, so just this once, let me show you how powerful you can be when friends are watching out for you. Luck puts on a big smile as Noel then releases him, and they get ready for a fight with an enraged Lotus. Since it looks like things aren't going well for me, I guess we'll have to get serious. He uses his ultimate move, surrounding the three in smoke completely and trying to trap them. Luck then says, don't let it touch you, it drains your strength. Asta then smiles as he tells the others to get behind him. When they do, Asta's sword shines blood red, and all the smoke magic around them starts being absorbed excessively into his sword. Luck and Noel are shocked, as they had actually never known that he could do this at all. By the time Lotus had realized what Asta was doing, Luck had rushed at him and, using his lightning magic, slammed a punch into his stomach, and it was so hard that it sent him into a wall. However, just as Lotus was about to land back down, he used the last of his magic to make a getaway with his smoke car. Luck was about to chase after him, but he didn't want to leave the others again because that would be stupid after the whole character thing I made happen. Asta then says, good work, now we need to go find the treasure. Noel then asks, are you sure? Doesn't it cost a lot of stamina to do what you just did? Asta then says, why do you think I train every day? At this point, this is nothing. Besides, we made a bet, so we have to get going. After mentioning this, Luck starts to just sense a dense amount of mana just clashing against each other. Now we go to Lotus, who was being healed by his henchmen, and they were also beaten by Luck, and he picked them up as he was making his escape. The one healing him then asked if he was okay. Hell no, those kids could have done much worse, and we're definitely in no shape to hunt the treasure now. But I'm sure Mars will take care of it for us, says Lotus. Now we cut back to Yuno, and he was facing Mars head on. Klaus looked on in frustration as a commoner was just demonstrating an overwhelming amount of power, but when he tried to fight Mars a few minutes ago, he ended up on the ground. Damn it, I'm not just gonna sit back and watch, says Klaus in frustration. He decided to launch a metal spear at Mars, who was trying to attack Yuno with his giant crystal sword, and when Klaus's attack hit Mars, he turned to crystal, and unfortunately it turned out that he hit a clone instead. The real Mars then attacked Yuno with his sword but missed as Yuno jumped with wind and sent a huge wind slash at him. He thought he finally got him, but Mars automatically activated his armor, taking all the damage. Why don't you just give up now? Your magic does not affect me. Yuno then says, I won't, because I have to beat someone who's stronger than you. He ran at Mars recklessly with the last amount of physical strength he had left and punched him in the chest as hard as he could. A loud crack is just heard and echoed throughout the dungeon as Mimosa and Klaus truly started to lose hope. That's not gonna affect him, says Mimosa. Klaus then says, what the hell are you doing? You're a mage, not a physical combatant. Just as they said this, Mars was pushed back with incredible force. A force strong enough to finally just crack his armor, and he was sent flying into the air until he slammed into a wall, just like Lotus did, and he fell back down in a cloud of dust. Mimosa then asked herself, did he really finish him? Mars then comes out of the dust cloud. This is where you end. Yuno then says, no, it's not. Yuno then stares as, a giant sword just comes down on him. And this time Mars was pissed for real because the man finally managed to crack his armor, so he was not letting up at all this time. And Yuno is trying to move, but he's out of strength, magical and physical. And in an instant, he thought he was about to die, but then his worries just disappear. And instead of seeing a giant sword hurling towards him, he sees Asta's back. Oi, who gave you permission to attack my rival? Says Asta. Yuno then says, you really show up at the worst times, Asta then says, oh yeah, I have really bad timing to save my brother from his inevitable death. Yuno then says, I would have made it out somehow. Asta then says, well, sorry, I didn't want to go back to the village and tell Sister Lily you lost an arm or something. Yuno then says, I had it under control. Asta then says, who the hell do you think what are you talking about? He had you on the end of the ropes. And they keep arguing back and forth while Luck and Noel are helping up Mars and Mimosa. And Mimosa started to heal herself because she was practically bleeding out at this point. And Klaus says, I can't believe they're arguing at a time like this. Hopefully soon the siblings do stop bickering and decide on one thing. And it was that Mars needed to go down. Asta then says, you want to see who can take him down first? Yuno then says, hell yeah. Asta then actually sheaths his sword, confusing everyone. So, you're the one who's been taking care of my brother, huh? Says Asta, staring at Mars. Mars then answers, so what? He's weak. I took care of him. He creates an army of crystal clones then, and they rush at the group and they rush back at the clones. But Noel stays by Mimosa because this time she was going to protect her. And she created a sea dragon's lair around her and it let her be safe while she was healing herself. And she stood up for battle just to see anything that's happening, offensive and defensive. She unlocked. Klaus was then wondering why Asta sheathed his blade, since it seemed that he is more, he was more proficient with the sword. Klaus then is thinking, that commoner, thinking he can beat these things so easily with his weapons. Just as he says this, Asta's hands spark with blood red color, colored energy, and he swipes at a clone that was coming at him, cutting it in half. And his hand is in a knife hand position. Then he jumps forward and gets ahead of Yuno, who's really mad right now. And Mars says, on the battlefield, it's my job to destroy weaklings like you. So let me show you how inferior you are. Asta then says, oh, I would love to see you try. He swipes his hand in a cross motion as out of instinct Mars makes a crystal shield, which then breaks into 4 pieces, and then he backs up as Asta appears behind him with blinding speed and punches him. Mars then crumbles to pieces as it was just a clone all along. Just like I thought, I can't beat you without my sword. He then stares at the real Mars. He and Mars then stare each other down, and the others are amazed since he was holding back. Not Yuno though, because Yuno, spent all his life with him, and he knew that Asta liked to take things slow before he got serious. Klaus then says, how can a slum rat be so strong? It makes no sense. He was distracted in that moment and was almost hit by a crystal clone when Noel saved him while saying, would you stop whining? Asta has the ability to nullify magic. Yuno then cuts in. Along with that, he can also absorb magic, and he's freakishly strong. Klaus is shocked and can't really say another word, and he keeps, asking these stupid ass things, but they just keep getting answered, so might as well shut up. Now you go back to Asta fighting Mars, and it seemed like a tie, but due to Asta's brute strength and reflexes, Mars is actually getting caught off guard. Mars then is thinking, how is he keeping up with me? Who the hell is he? Just as he says this, Asta jumps up and yells, Fly Phoenix, Crescent, Slash! Mars then gets a huge, and I mean huge, cross across like around his chest-ish area, and it hurt more, and the fact that he avoided it at all was actually kind of lucky, and he could not equip his crystal armor fast enough. He then falls into water, making it seem like he was done for and, he was drowning, and everyone became so silent. Klaus then says, He did it? He actually beat him? Asta then surprises everyone when he orders Mars to come back up because there was no way he died from that. Just as he says this, crystal spikes launch out of the water, and he quickly absorbs the magic, but he also gets blown back a bit. I knew that wouldn't be enough to get rid of you, says Asta. Mars then rises out of the waters with a new weapon, a golem-looking thing. He has a huge suit of armor made of crystal, and he was serious for this time. Mars then says, Who are you? Answer me now. Asta then says, I'm just a swordsman with no magic from the slums. Klaus then says, he really has no magic? Then he just got lucky. That is what it would take. Asta then says, but regardless of that, don't take me lightly because my body's beyond abnormal. He then grabs his shirt and rips it off, showing his burly, ripped, but also a lean body, and he reaches for his pocket and takes out his bandana, which he then wraps around his head. He's serious this time. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna get serious, so don't hold back on me, or I'll kill you. His muscles tense up, and as soon as he steps, the ground cracks, and he blitzes Mars head on with incredible speed. Mars goes to swat him away, but just as he was about to, he sees Asta's sword cutting through his armor like butter, and it reaches his chest. In that moment, all Mars sees is red, and Asta appears behind him in a flash. Mars' golem starts to crack until it completely dissolves and dissipates into nothing. And when it does, Mars spews blood from every orifice of his body. I'm gonna leave it off there. That is the end of that. I hope you guys like it, and if you don't, well, I don't really know how to react to that, but I hope you did like it. Maybe you guys heard my audio spike up a little bit more than it should have, but that's just a mistake on my part. Halfway through this, I kind of got a bit sick, which is bizarre, and my ears also got plugged, and I didn't know how high I was screaming or not, and my nose is still kind of stuffy right now, and if I sounded any weirder, it's because I'm also watching Naruto as I take breaks in between, and tears are coming, man. I can't help it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this with anybody else who might like What Ifs. I hope you guys do love the videos. Keep subscribing. We're about to get to 4K already. The 2K special, the 3K special is on the way. It's taking really long though. Hopefully it doesn't take too long because I don't want to make you guys wait too long. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. All right. Not only because I'll be losing a subscriber, because I also don't want people to die. What else did I want to say? Nope, that's all I wanted to say. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will hopefully be soon. Also about the whole schedule thing, yeah, it's gonna get better, I hope, because I don't want to be only be posting one time a week, and it gets really weird. I hope you guys have the patience to wait for me, and I'm happy you guys have the patience to wait for me, because I don't know what I would have done if you guys just all of a sudden started unsubscribing. It would have showed a really just bad image, but thank you guys for sticking around. I love y'all. See you in the next video. Bye.